I did a poll a couple weeks ago. I asked for questions. I got some on the YouTube post, some on Instagram, and some on my Discord. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I did have to weed some out just to make this kind of relatively short. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Again, thank you guys so much for, at this point, 4K subs. It's so odd being on the other side of the curtain. You know, I've always been the one consuming the content, not the one creating it for somebody else. So I'm not gonna get too mushy and anything. Just I really appreciate it, and yeah, you guys have been awesome. All right, so first question: what's your favorite skate game, and do you skate IRL? Skate 3 is my favorite skate game so far. I did skate when I was a kid, but when we moved out of the city down south, where there was nowhere to skateboard anymore, I kind of just stopped doing it. It was around time I was turning 13, 14. So I just kind of stopped doing it for a while. By the time I moved back to the city, you know, I did it once in a while, but I wasn't really on it anymore. So I might, you know, get back into it someday, but I'm kind of old now, so yeah. Where did you get Yanky from? Actually, it's kind of the same thing. So it was actually a nickname I got when I moved to the South. I moved to Alabama from Boston, which is, as you can assume, a very drastic difference in culture. And not in like a derogatory way, but when I moved down here, a group of quote unquote rednecks, you know, country guys, were like, "Oh, you're a Yankee, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." And it just kind of stuck, and they just started calling me Yankee. Obviously, it was like Yankee, and it just kind of stuck for a while. Basically, I guess life now. And you know, I kind of just made it like my quote unquote online alias back in like 2010, and it's just been like that since. Goth femboy or Hello Kitty Asian? uh uh yeah. All right. Will you ever start streaming? Yeah, I do plan on streaming occasionally. I don't want to act like I'm gonna go like full-time fucking Twitch streamer. But I do. It would be easier for me to stream on YouTube because I already have a small audience. But I don't have a PC at the moment, so I have to stream from the console exclusive platforms that I can. So PlayStation 5, I can stream straight to YouTube. Series X, I can stream straight to Twitch. I'm on my Series X most of the time. My PlayStation is strictly for like single player games and like exclusives. So I'm thinking about maybe streaming Death Stranding because I kind of want to play it. So thinking about doing that, but long answer, still long. Yes, I will be on the lookout, and I'll also be doing some posts and just kind of talking with you guys. But yeah, what keeps you going every day? Honestly, my dogs. Not to say, you know, without them I'd stick my Glock in my mouth and pull, but you know, they're both such sweet, goofy, silly, fluffy little retards, man. I love them so much, especially my big dog. His name's Ali. I'll put up a picture. My other dog, Jake, little one, he's like a little terrier. Again, picture. I love them both, but Ollie is like my fucking baby, man, and he is just such a handsome little dickhead, just like his father. I think me and him just ended up bonding. I think I imprinted on him because he follows me everywhere. He always sleeps with me or sleeps in front of my door. He listens to me more than anybody else. He's just like, he's my dog. So yeah, man, my dogs. When did you know you liked pee-pee? As soon as you sent the message. Favorite music artist. So some of y'all might not know. I am Afro-Latino, which means black in Spanish. My mother is Puerto Rican. My father was black and Dominican. Dominicans are black in Spanish anyway, but he was half black. So I don't know. I got like probably 40% black. So you know, I grew up kind of into projects, hood, whatever. But I grew up in a household that was a lot of Spanish shit, and then like obviously some like oldies and a little bit of hip hop. And my older brother was a huge hip hop head. So I say all that to say I am a hip hop head. Now I listen to a little bit of everything. Like I said, I am Hispanic, so I listen to like reggaeton, salsa, bachata, merengue, all that shit. But 90% of the time I'm listening to hip hop. I fuck with like indie and alternative rock. I like house and EDM music. I like 90s country music. It's like really good storytelling. I like that kind of stuff. I can appreciate pop music. I like a little bit of everything. But favorite artist right now off the top of my head that I'm listening to, because I can't give you like a specific one. It's Babytron. I fuck with Babytron heavy. Huncho. I like Huncho. He just dropped the album. That shit was tough. Gunna's put out like 3 good albums back to back to back. I'm fucking with him. Big Yevo, another southern artist I like. Chef G, New York cat. Snot, some of y'all might know, he's kind of like emo rap, quote unquote. Sleepy Hollow, Lloyd Banks. Actually, you know what? Nah. If I had to say my favorite artist, and this is gonna be a weird pull that a lot of people probably not gonna know, Dave East. Dave East is this New York nigga that's like super nice, and he's like bridging the gap between like old school New York rap and like the new school shit. Cause I think he's like in his mid-30s. He's very old school, like style wise. But he does a lot of like work with like a lot of the newer New York artists, like the younger dudes and some of the guys like that are more in his style. I fucked with Dave East super heavy since like 2015. Some of you might know him. If you remember the 2016 XXL, which was the big one with like Uzi, Yachty, 21 Savage, all them. The Cypher, Dave East did the one with G Herbo. So, yeah. Dave East is probably my number one. He has been for a long time. But, fun fact, back when I was in high school, like 2010 to like 2014, it was actually Kirk O'Banks, the Drank in My Cup dude. Now, I liked him. His music, his like mixtapes and shit were phenomenal. It was like actual really good, like deep music. It wasn't like club shit. But he's severely slept on. I don't really listen to him too much anymore, but for like a good 5 years, that was my dude. Are you into cars? What kind? And what's your dream car? Casually, I know how to work on my own car a little bit, but nothing super, like, I think the most high octave thing I've did was install I think it was a cool air intake. So, yeah, a little bit. What kind are my favorite? JDM, definitely, like the Japanese imports, I just love them. And what's my dream car? This is a very weird one. Lancia 037 Stradale. It was like an Italian, I guess you could say like it was a rally car, but it just, I don't know, man. I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it when I was a kid. Would you crack a femboy if it looked like a dream girl? Oh, if it looked like your dream girl. What the fuck are these guys? Nah, I wouldn't do that, man. No way. No, I wouldn't do that. How do you escape the loop of depression? So, the thing that works best for me, and I'm not a licensed psychologist or therapist, so take my advice with a grain of salt, especially because I'm not like, I'm still dealing with shit, so. But for me, it's always been distraction. Keeping myself distracted, particularly with the things that I like when the depression sets in, because for me it's a very come and go kind of thing. Sometimes I'll be kind of depressed, sometimes it'll go away and I'll be alright for a little while, whatever. But for me, when I am feeling the depression, when it is setting in, I distract myself, whether it's with video games, with art, because I like drawing. If I'm dating a girl at the time, I might just spend a shit ton of time with her. If I'm watching a TV show, watching the anime, even work. There's been times where I was real depressed and I would just started picking up extra shifts at work just to keep my mind clear. It's a hard thing to deal with, and it's gonna be different for everybody. You just got to figure out what works for you. Obviously, I would say I would recommend seeking professional help. That would be the best thing I could offer you. Rather crack a goth femboy or a hot Cheeto torta? I'm noticing a trend here. I guess the femboy. Let's see, what else? Most important thing in my life right now. Well, if it was, I guess my family. That's a really cliche answer, but like my mom, my aunt, my older brother, I'm very close with them. I love them to death, and I want to help them as best I can, whatever I can. My mom in particular is definitely number one, if I'm being honest. And my dogs, but I already kind of answered about them. If I would say the most important thing, honestly, it's probably this YouTube thing. It's not to sound overly dramatic, and I know it's gonna sound dramatic as fuck anyway. It's kind of been like the thing that's kept me going lately. It's breathed new life into me, and although there comes a lot of anxiety and like worry about like, oh, I'm not putting out anything good enough, or does anybody want to listen to this or see that or whatever. There's stuff like that. But regardless of all that, like it's been breathing new life into me and making me really happy. So, you guys, I guess in short, what made you come out of your shell and start posting? Honestly, I don't know. I bought this microphone probably 6 months ago. I made 1 or 2 videos, didn't really like them, so I deleted them and then just didn't use it for months and months and months. And if you go back and look, my first video I posted was about just the experience of like meeting a stranger on a game online for the first time in a long time. Honestly, it was just that experience. I was just like, I just wanted to talk about it, and then it's just kind of snowballed from there. But I've wanted to do this for a long time. I let my own fear stop me from doing it for a long time, so I don't know, I guess I just got tired of waiting, Do you watch anime? And if so, what's your top 5? Yes, I do watch anime. Top 5. Alright, so first I would say Naruto, which is like a super vanilla answer, but the thing with Naruto is it was what got me into anime in the first place. I was scrolling Netflix one day, just happened upon it. Said, fuck it, I'll watch this, because I remembered seeing a couple episodes back on Toonami. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just watch this. And, it was funny enough is I binged Naruto from episode 1 of, OG Naruto all the way through, and then all the way through Shippuden in like 2 months. And what's funny, it was like meant to be, because the very last episode of Shippuden, like the finale of the series before they came out with fucking Boruto, it aired like a week before I got to that episode. So the series ended just as I was finishing watching it for my first time. So I thought that was crazy to me. Next, it's a weird one. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Tanaka-kun is always listless. It's like this funny, it's a comedy basically, comedy slice of life about this high schooler who's just lazy as fuck. That is like the whole premise of the show. He is just super lazy, and it's like, it's really funny, and it's like, how he moves around and gets through hijinks and like daily shit in high school, being this fucking lazy ass kid. And honestly, it was just kind of relatable. But it's actually like, it's not really a comedy anime. Like, it's not really a comedy, but fuck, it's funny, man. Like, it really is just funny. After that, I would probably say Hunter x Hunter for like favorite shonen. Code Geass or Code Geass, however it's pronounced. And then last, probably redo of Healer, to be honest. Nah, it'd be fuck, it's kind of a toss-up. There's like 3 answers I'm thinking of right now. That it could be Fooly Cooly, Horimiya, which is just like the only well, not the only, but like the best romance anime I've ever seen, and A Silent Voice, which is also kind of, that one's just, you'll fucking cry your eyes out. I'm gonna shorten this one up. Basically, you're scared because you don't know what you want to do with your life. Most people don't, man. Coming out of high school, most people don't know what they want to do with their life. The few people who know what they want to do with their life, like they're 9 years old and, oh, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a fireman, or whatever. That's rare. And, it's great for them, but that's not the case for a majority of people. My advice, honestly, if you want to figure it out, is 1, try not to stress it too much. I spent like 10 years stressing it. It never even happened. Fuck it. It'll come to me when it's meant to. But an easy way to, is try different things. If you're going to work or go to college, whatever. If you're just going to have jobs, try different jobs. Maybe every year go to a different field and try something new. Because, you never know. You could find your calling just happening upon it. So that's probably my best advice for that. Any advice to a 23-year-old? Better so, what would you tell your 23-year-old self? Fuck. See, 23-year-olds are hard to give advice to because you are no longer a child like a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old. But you're not quite grown up like a 26-year-old. You're in that like weird in-between period. If it was myself, the best advice I would have given myself is I would have told myself to plan ahead more. I definitely just kind of freeballed my whole life. And also that it gets better, you know? You might go through rough patches, and there's times where it seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep pushing through, eventually you do realize there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And for any other 23-year-old, I guess I would say, you know, plan ahead as much as you can, but keep in mind that life does not give a fuck about your plans. And no matter how much you might try to plan, you know, you have to learn how to adjust, you know, because you could plan the next 10 years of your life out to a T, and then 3 weeks later that plan's gone to shit, just because that's life, you know. The easiest way to get through life, in my opinion, is to learn how to adapt to it, roll with the punches, and, you know, yeah. Also, don't think with your dick either. That's a big one. That's kind of self-explanatory for any man, but don't think with your dick. It's easier said than done, but that's a big one. How do you adapt to adulthood? Kind of just went over that. So again, just adapt to life, roll with the punches, don't think with your dick. Big one I've learned is not every opportunity that seems like a good opportunity is one. Definitely try to weigh pros and cons before you make any kind of decisions. Any tips to starting a YouTube channel? Try to differentiate yourself. You have to do this for like the passion or the joy of it. You can't do this trying to make money right away or whatever. Like, that's not gonna work. Yeah, I would mainly just say, you know, try to differentiate yourself and make something you enjoy making. Because one, if you're making this just for like an algorithm to pick up the video and crank out views, it's gonna become noticeable. And two, you're gonna lose the joy for it and eventually just give up on it anyway. Let's see. Top 5 games. Number 1 easily is Grand Theft Auto 4. It's a kind of a weird pick for a lot of people, but I just love that game so much. I love the characters, I love the writing, I love the atmosphere. I have replayed GTA 4 from first mission to last mission, I shit you not, over 20 times. That is easily like the most I've ever played any other game. Number 2, I would say SSX Tricky. Not only is it just like a really fun and good game in general, but it's also very nostalgia heavy for me. It's a game I used to play on my GameCube with my older brother, and it was like one of the things, because my brother is 9 years older than me, so obviously that's a huge age gap when you're children. Now we're good, but when we were kids, you know, it was just me, him, and my mom. My mom had to work like 2 jobs half the time to pay the bills, so since she was always at work, he had to take me everywhere with him. So I was always his annoying little brother, kind of cramping his style. So, you know, we didn't get along too well. He was probably sick of me being around all the time. He was kind of a dick. But playing video games was one of the few things that we really bonded over well. And it's just a core memory for me. 3, I would say Modern Warfare 2. I don't know if I really need to explain that, but that game just, from like 2009 to 2015, I played that game religiously. Even, you know, I played the other CODs that came out, BO2, MW3, Black Ops, all that shit, but I always went back to MW2. 4 and 5 is kind of a toss-up for me, and they're both kind of recent games, so it's a little bit of recency bias, but I would say Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk. Both of them are just, I mean, like, amazing games in general. You know, they're low-key kind of masterpieces. Now, Cyberpunk was dog shit on console when it first came out. CD Projekt Red knows that they got that stain on their jacket and they're never gonna wipe that bitch off. But I mean, the game now, how it is, it's a masterpiece, to be honest. Baldur's Gate 3, I don't know how Larian was able to pull that off. That is an immaculate game. I've never played a game that had so much freedom of player choice. You could approach literally every single thing in the game however you could dream up. And if the mechanics of the game allowed for it, you could do it. It's fucking crazy. And then on top of that, I mean, just the character writing, the story, the atmosphere, the graphics, the sound design, the music, everything of both games is just... I mean, if you've played them both, you probably know. So, I'm gonna shorten this one. Was 2010 better than 2025? Probably, but it's not good to live with nostalgia glasses on. Because if you're living thinking 2010 was so much better than now, and oh, it's shitty now, you know, the thing is whether it's true or not, if you're living your daily life thinking how much better it used to be versus how it is now, you're not going to be able to enjoy anything now, you know? And, you know, 2010 might have been better economy, this, that, and the other thing, whatever. I'm sure back then people were like, damn, it was way better in 2000. So, you know, how social media has impacted our generation, it's been good and bad is the easiest way I can put it. I mean, the thing is so social media started off as a positive. When it first came out, it was all about connecting with people, you know, like early MySpace, early Facebook. Granted, yeah, cyberbullying's probably been a thing since the jump, and that's just because humans suck. But, you know, early Facebook, early MySpace, it was about connecting with each other, you know? It really was about just connection. And the early internet, like forums and stuff, it was about finding people who were like-minded and usually in your age range and stuff like that. It was... The early internet in general was about connection. Early YouTube, it was very raw, just people putting themselves out there, you know? Social media has changed over time, especially with the introduction of money being equated to like follower count and all that shit. You know, social media went from a way of connecting with people to a way of marketing yourself. It's a big popularity contest now. You know, it's not about connecting with people anymore. It's about posting a highlight reel of your life and how many followers do I have? How many impressions did this get? What does my engagement look like? And it's about trying to be an influencer and starting a brand and becoming a millionaire by 25 with social media. It's not what it used to be. Internet in general is not what it used to be. It just used to be, like I said, it was just connection. It was just humans experimenting and putting shit out there for everybody else to see. And now everything has just gone so corporate and businessy. The experience I learned the most from probably the death of two of my friends when I was a kid. When I was 13, one of my friends died in a car accident, and when I was 15, another one of my friends got killed in a shootout. When you're a child, a teenager, you know, if a family member dies, it's one thing, and it can definitely fuck you up. But when it's a friend, you know, somebody your age, it kind of clicks for you just how real the fragility of life is, and you know how quickly, just in a snap of a finger, it can all be over. So it definitely makes you do a lot of growing up really quickly. But yeah, probably that. Favorite quality about myself, probably this, that I'm able to talk and communicate thoughts, ideas, emotions, just stuff I was not able to verbalize when I was 25 maybe, or 20. I'm able to do now. You know, it's helped a lot with relationships. It's helped a lot with networking with people, just being able to talk and speak my mind, and you know, when I need to, I can do it very coherently, and I can be well spoken, and you know, obviously that's good for work. Communication is very important in most jobs nowadays. And more importantly, you know, it's led to this, something that I really enjoy doing and I care a lot about, and a nice community of people that I get to have a back and forth with. So Wow, what a change of pace. Obliterated by 10 BBC or watch 2017 Jake Paul videos. I can't stand Jake Paul. I definitely couldn't stand that motherfucker in 2017. I'll take the 10 BBC. And this seems very on point to end it on. A goth femboy or a Hello Kitty femboy? I don't know what the fuck is going on with you guys. Stop asking me about femboys. And the Hello Kitty femboy. Alright, peace out, man. I appreciate y'all so much again. Thank you for 4K. If I haven't hit it when I post this, I don't know yet, whatever. Thank you guys so much regardless. Hope you enjoyed. Keep your head up. Stay safe. Stay good. Stay blessed. I've been Yankee. Peace.